Sauce the Big Tubesters is RN4 song, The Bougie Mystic, and it has been a while. This is actually round 2 of me recording this. I got real rambly in the beginning, so I'm not even gonna bother doing that. I will share with you, I'm working on a Red Thread Academy assignment. I'm making my autumnal protection cord. Also, I have to share this again because it's so cool. I can't wait to use this in ritual tonight. This was another assignment, or it's a portion of the same autumn equinox second harvest assignment. But yeah, it's everything I want it to be. It came out exactly how I wanted it to. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. Very proud. You will be seeing me look down. Like I said, I'm doing some braiding. Almost done, actually. So, this is the spooky season tag. Yeah, I'm just gonna get straight into it. Lady Blind Wolf created this. I'll try to remember to link her channel below. Excuse me. I don't know where I was going with that, so we'll just move on to the first question. Favorite Halloween or fall treat as a child versus as an adult? Halloween treat would probably be a Crunch Bar. Like most people, Halloween is when I got the most of my candy. So I always loved it when it was Crunch Bars. A lot of times I would eat those first and then try and save some of them, so that way when I ate the rest of the stuff, I'd still have my favorite candy at the end. I don't know what it was about the Crunch Bar, but I really loved the crispy, crunchy rice balls that were in it, and then just the simple sweet milk chocolate. It was so good. I think I loved the satisfying of the breaking of the tablets too. Whereas kind of like a Kit Kat, I guess. You know, a lot of people get that satisfaction of breaking the Kit Kat. Another one, and this is kind of more of a nostalgia thing, and it's straight up just milk chocolate spheres, like milk chocolate balls. But the one specifically wrapped in like eyeball foil. I remember my great grandmother had some one Halloween, and I don't know why, but I was just obsessed with them. So that's probably my favorite childhood candy. Fall wise, it's gonna be the candy apples. I love a good candy apple. I love a large candy apple. We have this candy store on the island, and it's exactly the same as I can't remember what the brand was. I want to say it was like Mrs. Fields, but I think that's a brand for a cookie. So if you know, like, they were on QVC for a while, these candy apples, and you could get, like, I think it was like a pack of 4 or 6. Actually, I think it was 8. And I can't remember what all the flavors were. I know one of them was a triple chocolate chip, and so it'd be like the Granny Smith apple on the skewer with a nice thick coating of caramel, and then it would be white milk and dark chocolate chips on it. That was one of them. I think there was like a cookie crumble one or something like that. There was a lot of them. Well, I say a lot of them, but they were all just delicious, just amazing. And then I guess an honorable mention, though, I don't really I know I've had it before, I just don't know when. And Lady Blind Wolf brought it up, and it was the I keep on wanting to say Rice Krispie ball. The popcorn balls, those are really good, especially when they're made with caramel. Oh, it's so good. But honestly, and it's kind of carried over into adulthood, caramel apple is favorite fall treat. Favorite Halloween special. Is really any childhood show that did a Halloween special. So like Arthur, Lizzie McGuire, who else? I think That's So Raven did one. Anytime any show, even as I got older, I would love it when they do a Halloween special. I really love some of the Elvira shows. I haven't watched all of them, and it's been a while since I've watched them, but I do love those. And I think I know Blind Wolf mentioned Vincent Price. I don't know if it's the same person that I'm thinking of, but I think there was like an anniversary or something like that of when he did his Halloween special talking about like witchcraft and stuff like that, and like I think it was about like the evolutionary image of the witch. You can find it on Spotify, so I'll try and remember to link it below. I guess it was like an anniversary or something, and they released a. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to yawn. But they released a vinyl record, and I was definitely planning to buy it, but I, of course, forgot. So then it sold out. But like I said, it's on Spotify, so you can listen to it on there. Favorite weird or old Halloween movie? I don't think I have a weird one. I kind of have my own thoughts about the word weird. Basically, I just don't resonate with it. But old Halloween movie, I guess it would be Halloween Town. I don't really know a lot of old Halloween movies. Maybe some of like some like cartoon vampire movies, like the Ketchup Vampires. I watched that as a kid. I guess you could say some of the like old cartoon Addams Family could be Halloween-esque or maybe weird. Best Halloween memory. So it's not one. I think it only happened twice, maybe 3 times. The memory would be my grams making my Halloween costumes. Loved those so much. The ones I can remember anyway are when I was in kindergarten, she made me a witch costume. She made me like the conical hat and a cape, and it's a little sexist because she put black yarn on it to make me basically look female, because you know this was still back in the day when witches were only males. I might do a soft candid confession video talking more about that because I have commentary about it. Soft just because it's like it's not like it's emotionally turmoil or anything like that, but there was that one, loved it. And then the other one was I was Neo from the Matrix one year for Halloween, so she made me that black trench coat, and it was so cool. Yeah, love it. Worst Halloween memory would probably be, I don't really have one. I feel like worst is kind of a strong word, but it is how the question's phrased. Worst Halloween memory would probably be my last one. Unfortunately, my family was, and the area that we were living in was very ageist, and was very much under the impression that, certain ages, even though they're technically still children and still minors, are just not allowed to be trick-or-treating. Unfortunately, I was in an area, even though it was like the ghetto, or not the ghetto, excuse me, the hood, and there was like, drug dealing and gang activity, there was also some white folk, and not even just white folk, but older folk that thought once you're a teenager, you're nothing but a problem, why are you on the streets, blah, 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 all that type of stereotypical rhetoric of the 90s and early 2000s even transpired into multiple television shows and cartoons, so you probably know exactly who I'm thinking about or talking about. But yeah, that kind of was somewhat included in my family, not as harshly. So my mother was like, you're not going to be one of those teenagers trick-or-treating. So 13 was my last year for trick-or-treating. That wasn't really what made it the worst part. What made it the worst part was that I got invited by my friend at the time to go trick-or-treating in their area. And of course the parents were going to be there and everything like that. They were going to supervise. What happened was, I got into a little bit of an accident. I just tripped and fell wrong, and I fractured my wrist. And because of that, my mother said that I wasn't going to be doing trick-or-treating with them. Like, she just didn't feel comfortable. So and one of the things she says, like, I don't even know the parents. I'm like, well, why don't you, like, set a meeting with them, And, like, I don't think I said it out loud, but I definitely thought of it. I was just thinking, like, it just looking back, it seems like a cop-out excuse. I think what it really was is that she didn't want to, she was so used to me trick-or-treating with her and being a part of the trick-or-treating that she didn't want to lose that. Which is kind of weird because she could have just trick-or-treated with us. I don't know. I just think it was like a weird cop-out excuse to not allow me to go with my friends. And it was a minor fracture too, so it's like, and I had a cast on, so it's like if I did supernaturally fall again, it's not like it would have like broken into a million pieces or anything like that, and there were adults around, so I would have been supervised and whatever. But you know, that's just what my mother did, you know. Nothing can be done about it now, and it's really not really the end of the world. But I guess that's the closest thing to like the worst Halloween memory. So next, what Halloween rituals do you have in your practice today? I don't actually practice anything about Halloween today. I mean, last year I did decorate my office space. The vision didn't fully come to because I didn't have all the things. I guess I didn't prioritize or plan well or something like that. But basically, I do a 3-day Samhain celebration. And now also, well, I guess not now, but with my cultural traditions, it kind of goes on from October 28th until November 2nd. So that's like what? That's like a 5-day, almost a week-long celebration. So the 28th in my tradition is seen as a day of reset on magic. All magic goes back to the earth because it all came from the earth, to like a specific deity. It's the whole thing. So there's that, and then there's like a burning of spruce to kind of reactivate any magical works that still need to be going or whatever, things like that. The 29th is the end of the harvest, the third harvest. So I'll usually make a root stew, or even like potato and leek soup or something like that. Usually some type of stew or soup. Oftentimes meatless because it's more about the earth and the vegetation. A lot of times I'll also make some type of bread or buy some type of dark bread, again, to go with like the agricultural and the I guess not the vegetation, but like the plant and the botanicals and of the earth, being sacrificed for the final time for our sustenance. And then the 30th is honoring the animals. So this is the animals that have died. This will be both pets and animals that die for food. So when I was vegan, I kind of altered this and made it where I would consume a meal made of the foods that the animals that we would typically eat would eat. So like deer, pig, cow, even squirrel if you hunt. Did I say pig? Yeah, I think chicken, duck, goose. I think I included goose. Any turkey, things that they would eat. I'd make a meal out of it or whatever, and then I would consume that in honor of the animals, by like eating like them, kind of getting in that mindset, if you will. When I went back to meat eating, of course, now it's honoring all whatever meat or of the animal that I'm eating. I will honor them and appreciate, give thanks to them for their life, their sacrifice. I think this year I'm gonna make like a triple meatloaf, so I might do something where it's like chicken, turkey, and venison, like or veal, whatever the ground deer meat is called. Or, and maybe instead of turkey and chicken, I might do a lamb, ground lamb, and maybe like ground chicken or ground turkey or something like that. One of those. I think it'll give it a lot of flavor. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about, but I'm not sure yet. The 31st is the day of honoring the ancestors. So this would be a time where I'd make pumpkin pie. A lot of times I made pumpkin pie. I'd make kolkanam. Sometimes I made barmbrack. What else? sometimes I'd make like a squash dish. I think this year I might make some barbecue chicken. I'll make my great grandmother's barbecue sauce recipe and make barbecue chicken with that. Uh, yeah. Or maybe, if the funds permit, maybe I'll make rack of lamb, where I'll get some lamb ribs and use my great grandmother's barbecue sauce on that because we did love our lamb too. But yeah, so that's usually some type of family recipe or ancestral recipe. Um, and then, of course, when I've made all these foods, a lot of it can be eaten in concession. November 1st, this is another cultural celebration. So this is All Saints Day. We're not actually Catholic or Christian, but we have some Abrahamic influence. And so this will be the time to venerate any saints, any and all saints in our tradition, as well as review and approve any potential new saints. And then the second All Souls Day, this is about honoring any wandering souls. Excuse me, keep hiccuping. Or any, this would also be a time where we might go to the cemetery graveyard and kind of like adopt a grave or like add flowers to the grave, things like that. Greatest phobia. Don't really have one. The closest thing was like my anxiety, more of a discomfort of clowns. I was never like hyper like screamed or cried about it. But yeah, I just think they're unnatural. Like, why are you trying so hard to make people laugh? Number 8, paranormal experience for Halloween. So this happened last year. I believe it was last year. I was doing my procession, my soul cake procession, which is I'll make soul cakes on the 31st with black currants, and I have a whole soul cake recipe. I think I shared it last year. I can't remember. And then I'll exit out of one door. If it's a 2-door residence I'm living at, then I'll exit out one door, come back in another. And I try to not retrace my steps. Now, if it's only one door, of course, you're going to retrace them for the door, but I'll walk in one direction and come back around. So this one year, I was doing that, and there's like this shadowy figure, humanoid looking like figure, and I'm not thinking anything of it because like the other day I saw like the human silhouette crosswalk signs that are kind of short, so I'm thinking it's that. I'm getting closer and I'm realizing it's a little bit more like a real human shape and height. I'm like, oh, okay. So I also don't really think anything of it because it's not uncommon for people to be walking around, even while I'm doing like witchcraft or things like that. Like, people will like cross and I don't care. Like, I've done full-on spells while people are walking beside me on the sidewalk or on the beach or something like that. So like, I'm thinking it's just one of those people. So I say, hey, how you doing? And there's no response. I kind of feel like they're almost staring at me, but I've also gotten closer to the point where you should see some sort of facial features and you don't see anything. And I'm like, oh, blessed be, this is a shade. I'm like, oh, nope, not doing that. And not just move forward, don't look back, don't entertain the spirit no more, and just go back about my day. So that's probably the closest paranormal experience that I've had on Halloween. It's actually the only one I've had on Halloween. Moving on to try and not get cut off again. Favorite horror, scary, witchy book. I don't really have one particular, but I guess when it comes to like scary stories, when I was doing my trial and coronation in North Georgia, I found a scary stories book of like North Georgia tales. And somewhere in like Chattahoochee, there was like one on the Chattahoochee story. I read that, loved it. And then I found another scary stories like San Diego ghost stories or spooky stories. So those are probably my favorite. Scariest movie as a kid. Oof. I think it would probably have to be like Pumpkinhead, or maybe like Hellraiser, or maybe I forgot what it's called, but like Pyramid Head. I can't remember what the movie's called. I feel like anything, probably more the Pyramid Head one, because that's where he like rips the skin off. I think that would probably be the scariest. Worst scary movie ever. I can't think of one specifically. Um, but I would, it'd probably be any type of like B-rated scary movie. I guess a scary movie franchise would be worst in the sense of it being scary, but like I actually like them. Oh, there was one. Okay, so I can't remember what it's called, but it was the one where like this female gets chopped in half. I want to say it was like Terrifier. I think it was Terrifier, and it just looked so fake. Most frightening ghost story. I don't have one. I don't really get spooked easily. So I actually love all ghost stories. I haven't been scared by one yet. Most memorable haunted house attraction. I've actually never been to one. That's something on my bucket list. And scary movies, books for a tarot oracle deck. Hellraiser. I think Hellraiser would make a great oracle deck, maybe tarot deck. I think it'd probably be better to do like a horror movie franchise. So again, I think it's Resident Evil where Pyramid Head is from. But yeah, Pyramid Head, I'd want him as a card. All the Hellraiser characters, Pumpkinhead, Jason, Freddy Krueger. I think that would make a great deck. Get all those characters in one. Yeah. So that's the tag. I'm going to tag Kevin, April, and Rowan. If you're watching this, you're also tagged. Yeah, I'm gonna go before I get cut off again. As always, thank you for watching. Abundant and eternal blessings. Mwah.